I expect to hear about, and nobody will ever have, before this moment, they will never in their lives have thought they would ever hear anything about this subject.
For me, that danger element is part of the fun. I love being scared, I think. That's what it comes down to. I love when I feel my body like twitching from fear. I think it's cool. There's nothing you could buy, no drugs you could take, no, you know, some multi-millionaire can never buy that rush. And I think that's cool that surfers have the opportunity to do that all the time.
These are scenes from the surf movie The Blueprint, released in 2005 and based on the life of Shane Dorian. It was directed by Chad Campbell. We're all from the same town, and I've known them both since I was 15 years old. They opened my eyes to something that I didn't know at the time. Surfing is a creative medium. Just like writing, drawing, and just like filmmaking. A lot of people I surf with have given me some bit of wisdom or some bit of life lesson that always stuck with me. So why not share them here? Kona is home to incredible surfers. The long sandy beaches of Waikiki just don't exist here. Kids learn to surf over shallow reefs and climb up rough shorelines. It's no surprise that local groms, like Jackson Dorian or Brody Sale, have zero issues catching waves that break over dry reef. A little easier to access than the Kona shoreline is the small mountain town of Haloaloa, where I met up and got coffee with the surfer, rapper, filmmaker, and for all intents and purposes, the rebel, my good friend, Chad Campbell.
Do I have supplementing? I mean, should I be eating during this thing?
Bro, you're good. Just don't answer while you're eating.
Yeah.
You can take sips of coffee, that's cool. This is I'm ripping off your style of filmmaking, just so you know.
I think we should get rid of the food.
You're not the director here, though. What would getting together with an old friend be without a little bit of good old-fashioned rousting? You see, Chad's made some incredible surf movies. And he's made a handful of rap albums, probably more than a handful. And he doesn't take himself too seriously. Well, maybe just a little.
You know what's weird? You know what I find really weird, just to go off a little bit? Brad, their coffee is strong here. Makes you jittery.
Here we are about to get all jittery, and we dove right in to the topic of filmmaking. You could say, I mean, there's two paths, sort of, like there's the traditional path and the untraditional path. Where do you see, as a filmmaker, that fell in? Where did you fall in line?
See, I barely even call myself a filmmaker still.
That's because Chad rips, and he spends most of his summers as a Tavarua boatman. Aside from the perfect waves, his affinity for the place probably comes from a super session he shot of Andy Irons and Shane Dorian during the making of The Blueprint.
Surf movies, especially for surfers, inspire surfers. People want to go and see something other than their home break at times.
So what made you want to make your first surf film?
I wasn't really doing anything. I was just surfing, being a surf bum, waiting tables, and I thought, I want to make a surf movie. The Taylor Steele movies came around, and those had no story and no travel and no, it was just ripping, right?
Taylor Steele, hands down, was making the most exciting surf films in the 90s and early 2000s. Some of the names include Focus, Good Times, Loose Change, Momentum, the list goes on and on. Taylor Steele changed the way we viewed surf videos, because up until that point, no one had ever just made a hype video. Everybody's segment was just the most amazing punk rock song that pumped you up, and the guy was killing it. It was like the best thing to watch before you went surfing.
Those movies were what I grew up surfing with, but I always missed that storytelling, adventure, romance part of the surf movie, basically. and I didn't know what I was doing. I just sort of put the wheels in motion with my intention. I knew Shane Dorian, knew Conan Hayes, so I organized the camera, started filming.
This is early test footage that Chad shot of Shane. It's not even a surf break. It breaks practically on dry reef. I don't think Shane had ever surfed here before this session either. I think he just saw waves breaking on dry reef and was like, I'm gonna try that. And it's because of Shane I started hanging out with Chad, who was filming his first movie, the Fifth Symphony document. Chad and I got along instantly. We both shared a huge interest in reading.
Emerson, Self-Reliance, this is a sick fucking essay, bruh.
We would always be arguing over who was a gnarlier author, which was a better book, who was a better rapper. Chad did open up my ears to some incredible sounds.
You remember that one? You know, I met Andy purposefully because I had heard he knew how to edit, and I had no idea how to edit.
The Fifth Symphony document is a new surf film by first-time filmmaker Chad Campbell. And it's unique because it gets to take a look at the lives of surfers from a perspective that we rarely get to see, and that's away from the surf.
The Fifth Symphony document had everyone from the Momentum generation, plus the guys who rip at your local surf break. It combined incredible surfing talent with rich storytelling.
It got to the point where Taylor Steele came on board as a distributor, so that was sick. It won the biggest award you can win for surf films at that time for our first film, so it was pretty rad. It was like Cinderella story or whatever, which is cool. It's definitely cool for the time. So sick that people actually have mopeds that they put louder mufflers on purpose.
Only here.
Yeah.
We reached the end of our coffees and it was time to say goodbye. And that's when Chad dropped the bomb of knowledge on me.
I would have been stoked if we just finished it and said, hey friends, let's have a little party and show a movie we made. That really embedded in my mind that rebel feel, like, okay, you know what, I don't care who says I can't do it. I'm not listening to them. All you have to do is start and keep focus on it and going. And maybe at certain points with certain projects you're going to come to a point where you got to pull the ripcord and be like, that was a failure. That's fine. There is no failures. I'm 100% not afraid to fail now because of Fifth Symphony. I'd much rather try and fail than, you know, let all the maybes and, you know, oh, what ifs, you know, run a project or an idea into the ground before it starts.
The Big Island is a special place, and you can't help but wonder if its rugged shoreline and gnarly surf don't have something to do with the unique personalities and incredible courage that you find here.
I guess, you know, that the risk is worth the outcome to me. And even on a day-to-day basis where I'm just surfing at home where it's just kind of shallow and gnarly and I could cut my head open or something, but basically what it comes down to, like when I have the opportunity to be in that situation where the waves are super gnarly, like to me I'm willing to take the risk to get that way, which could be like the best barrel of my life.
And remember I told you I can make you laugh, I can make you cry, I can make you do all the stupid things people don't want you to do?